Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you over to Water Your Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new around here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify whatever you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule of life. So getting into the video, this right here is going to be about some credit card news that's a major problem for 42% of Americans. That's right, 42%, which is almost half. And it's based on a survey that was done. We're going to get into the credit card news article shortly. But before that, I want to say, this is based on a survey, as with all things. And when you hear things like 42%, 32% of Americans, 38%, 50%, 70%, it's usually based on a survey. Now, there's always geniuses on YouTube that will come by and they will be like, well, these numbers aren't actual and they're not factual because I didn't participate in it. Well, hey, I didn't participate in this survey that was done either. But one thing that I will remind you all when it comes to surveys is the higher the response to the survey is the higher likelihood that the survey is accurate. That's how it works. And we go through this during the election season. If you're a fan of your favorite candidate being up in the polls or whatever it may be, all of that is market research. And it's all based on survey. And it's the same as this. So if you're a fan of that, because I know some of you are fans of it from a political standpoint, especially when your favorite candidate is leading in the surveys and the polls, and that would mean that you also should be a fan of this because it gives us insight into what people are thinking in general. So the way how credit card news works around here is I'll read through the article, I'll read through excerpts of the article, and I always leave the link to the article in the description box. So I'm not going to waste any more time talking about surveys and how they come up with surveys and the purpose of them. We're going to get right into it. All right, let's go. So this article is by Investopedia. And it says 42% of Americans say they're worried about credit card debt, yet many are doing nothing about it. And the article was done by Aaron McDade and it was published on August 13th, 2025. So they left some key takeaways from the article on Investopedia. It says 42% adults are concerned about credit card debt payments, with many reporting negative effects on mental health, sleep, work, and social life. Many aren't taking action despite concerns. 21% have done nothing to manage debt in the past 6 months, even though debt reduction is a top 3 financial priority. Surveys show declining satisfaction with financial health, with over 40% carrying credit card balances and 38% saying they have too much debt. Now you see what this article is about, and this is a problem, and it's something that I've been noticing on YouTube. I've been talking about credit card debt and how high credit card debt is in this country for at least the last 3 years on this channel. I know it's starting to pick up on YouTube and TikTok. I'm starting to see more YouTubers and more people on TikTok talk about credit card debt and how much credit card debt is and how Americans are struggling with debt in general. But over here at Water Your Soil, we've been talking about it because I understand the importance of it. I remember where it was a time where no one would want to talk about credit card debt. Everyone would just want to talk about the credit card rewards and the great benefits that come along with rewards. And I was noticing how people from the debt-free community, they would shun credit cards. And whether people come from the debt-free community space or anywhere, they would look down on credit cards. And I was like, wait, hold on. There's a way to have credit cards and not carry credit card debt. You simply have to pay off whatever you spend in full and do it consistently over time. And that's a great way to stay out of credit card debt. But some people, they don't believe in that concept. So I always wanted to make my goal over at this channel is to let people know, like, hey, you can use these credit cards and have the credit card rewards and the benefits that come with these credit cards and still stay out of credit card debt. It's possible. But let's get back into the article, all right? It says credit card debt is a rising concern for many Americans, but they're not taking action to manage their debt in a way that reflects how worried they say they are. New survey shows. About 42% of a group of 2,000 adults say they are concerned about credit card payments, according to a new study released Tuesday by financial services firm Happy Money. Many of those who said it was a concern said it has impacted their mental health or sleep habits, along with negatively impacting performance at work or in their social lives. Nearly 1 in 5 have taken no action to reduce debt. Reducing debt was the third biggest priority those surveys cited for their financial future at 36%, behind 40% who say they want to build savings and 42% who call covering daily expenses their top priority. However, 21% of people in the survey said they have taken no action to manage their debt or reduce financial stress in the last 6 months. No action was the fourth most common response to a question about how they are managing debt, tied with those who said they use savings to pay off debt. More common responses were those who said they had created a budget, the 28%, those who said they have delayed major purchases at 28%, and those who said they have cut back their discretionary spending at 39%. American satisfaction with their financial health is declining. The findings from Happy Money mirror another recent study from the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, the FINRA, which found that Americans were decreasingly satisfied and more anxious about their financial condition in 2024. Just over half of the 25,500 people in FINRA's Triennial survey said they always pay their credit cards off in full, while more than 40% said they sometimes carried over a balance and were charged interest or said they only paid the minimum amount for a month. About 12% of those surveys said they have 4 or more types of debt, from credit cards to student loans, medical debt, a mortgage, or a car loan, while 38% said they believe they currently have too much debt. So as you can see, we have a growing problem, and that problem is not getting better. And it continues to go on. And people often come by this channel and they wonder why I continue to do these credit card news videos. And these videos are mainly centered around credit card debt. We have a problem. I always call credit card debt a silly debt because I believe that it's avoidable. And yes, people are going to mention like, hey, things are hard right now. The economy is shaking and the price of goods and services are high right now. And what you all have to remember is a credit card is something that you don't have to reach for. You could reach for a debit card or you could go and pick up extra income, but you don't necessarily have to reach for a credit card. I think a lot of this boils down to a lot of people reach for credit cards because they look at it as an extra form of income. They believe that credit card money is their money, and as I always state on this channel, and I will continue to state, credit card money, your credit limit, is not your money. That doesn't belong to you. It's simply money that you're allowed to borrow on a monthly basis, but the bank also expects you to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back on time, if you don't have a 0% APR promotion on it, you're more than likely going to end up paying interest on that money that you don't pay back. So I always like to put it out there for people like, hey, you don't have to use these credit cards, and I would advise you, if you don't have the money to pay off what you spend, to stay away from your credit card. But people aren't going to do that because, yes, some people are struggling and they do look at their credit card as a crutch, something that they could fall back on and it can help them, man. I can't shun people and look down on people for doing that because I know where things are right now. You have people who have lost their job. You have people who have received pay deductions. And there are a lot of things going on right now that are causing people to reach for their credit cards. But as I stated previously, you do not have to reach for your credit card. And I advise you, if you cannot pay off whatever you spend, to not reach for your credit card. But this is a growing problem. It's unfortunate that 42% of Americans don't have a plan to pay off their credit card debt. And even if they do have a plan, they're not doing anything about it. And that's why I make these videos over at this channel, because I want you all to do something about it. There is something that you can do about it. One of the cool things that I like to do with my credit cards is I budget with them. I set an amount for my credit cards every month. And I really don't pay attention to my credit limit too much because I set my own budget. And my budgets that I set for my cards are usually nowhere near what my credit limit is. Sometimes people say 10%, but my budget for my cards, I usually try to keep them far away from that 10% mark because I want to be smart. I know one thing that I'm attempting to avoid is credit card debt. I don't want that for me, and of course I don't want that for you either, which is why I make these videos. But I just wanted to bring these numbers to the forefront because numbers usually grabs people's attention. Once you come out with these numbers, just like it does in the political poll, it could do it in the financial space as well. And I encourage other content creators to start doing it as well. Start letting these people know, like, yeah, these credit cards, they do have great benefits, but they also could land you in a lot of trouble. Now, some of you out there, you might say, hey, adults should know better. The people who watch me are an adult, so they should know better. But really, some people are not aware and they're not paying attention. And like I stated, the reason why I do these credit card news videos is because this part of the news is usually in the latter half of your local television news. So I like to make these videos about them. I appreciate you all supporting them because that keep these videos circulating. You never know who needs to see these videos. So simply hitting a like or simply leaving a comment or even sharing the video helps out a lot. But we got to do better when it comes to these credit cards and staying out of credit card debt and not carrying over these balances. But before you go, I want you to participate in my poll. So the way you do so is you click on the profile picture to this channel, and what it's going to do is going to take you to the home page. Once you're on the home page, you're going to see a section that says posts. You're going to click on that post section. You'll see my latest poll as well as my previous polls. Be sure to participate in both of them. But anyway, if you're new around here and you feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss a future video because I post often. That's clicking on the bell that you see and selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you, my subscribers included. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes 1 second. It lets the algorithm know you support this video and this channel. I appreciate you all for watching, whether you're watching on TV or you're watching on your laptop, your MacBook, or you're watching on your phone. Be sure to hit that like button. You can do it from all of those places. This is Water Your Soil, and I'm out. What's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.